How's it going, everyone? I am Dylan. This is my cousin Carlo. This is All You Can Board, and we are back for another rate and roast, but mostly roast your board game collections. We got 5 great collections, a couple here that I think are really going to blow people away. There's some really special ones in here in terms of the layout that I think we've been excited to get to. So
a couple local Winnipeggers too.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we got a couple patrons in here as well. Nice split. We're gonna jump right into it. If you don't know anything about the series, really quick in 5 seconds, we just rate and roast people's board game collections. They send us the photos, we tear them apart, or we say what we love. If you want to be on this, potentially be on this this series, just email allyoucanboard@gmail.com with your collection photos, or just even one photo, and we will hopefully get to it in the near future. We have a lot to get through, but we'll do our very best.
Yeah.
All right, first one we're looking at here is Dennis's collection, which is a local Winnipegger here from our local city. And this is not just the board game shelves we're looking at. He has his entire gaming setup, which looks like it's in like the dining room of a house, which I right away respect when people convert like what should be like a dining room into a gaming room, because he just takes the next level. Like I don't know if people realize our set here is technically the dining room of my condo. I looked at that and I said, dining room? Who needs a dining room when you're in your 30s, right? I don't have a family. It's all board games, right? So what we see here is basically what probably was a dining room.
And I'm kind of curious if that's like a cover so that like his pets don't get on the table
Yeah.
or something.
And
or
maybe
if this is like proper one of those game tables that has the inset part where you can put a cover on top. And
maybe it functions as a dining room too. They take this off. But
yeah.
when you have all these games here, you pretty much have to throw it in a game at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, let's take a peek at some. There's obviously a lot of games here, and there's even some that's like indent in the wall here. So let's take a look at what we got on some of these shelves. First of all, there are a lot of Mythic Battle boxes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the entirety of the top is covered by Mythic Battle, and I know nothing about this game.
All I know is that it's like a miniatures based like kind of skirmish game.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of Mythic Battles Pantheon, but I've never played it, and that's quite. This is like Zombicide levels of boxes when we've seen other people's collections.
It's funny when you see like there's certain
that.
games like Zombicide, like I guess Dominion would fall into that category. They have so many expansions, so many like add-ons, so many Kickstarter stretch goals, whatever, that they essentially become like an entire corner of a shelf, or sometimes an entire shelf, right?
I'm kind of curious now if we're gonna have any. Oh, I already see actually down here. There's the Conan. There's like 5 Conan boxes. Okay, we'll see. Maybe he's got Zombicide too. Maybe he's into a lot of these big boss games.
I'm gonna quickly jump down just because I wanted to comment on this. Is this Mechs versus Minions? Right here, it is.
Yeah,
that's one that I've wanted to play for so long, but you literally can't buy it. Like it was, I think, a limited run or whatever it was. But I've just it's actually ranked pretty high on BGG, and I'm curious enough. I think it's like an automated programmed movement type thing or whatever.
Yeah, action programming.
And it looks so cool, but like I don't know anyone who has it. We don't know like how to get our hands on it or whatever. I'm just so curious to try that game.
Is it the League of Legends theme that
not
makes
at all.
You curious? Or, it's the action.
Yeah, the actual like when I looked into it once and it just looked really, really interesting. But it's just one of those frustrating things where it's like a game you want, but you literally just cannot buy. It was like it was like Fjords for me before.
Well, I mean, Dennis is local. We've also had offers from another local in our Discord who I think has the same game and has mentioned.
This is me pining for an invite. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know anyone who has these games. It's really too bad.
Also, what are these? Because I love the way that they look. The Gluttony, Wrath, Greed.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Not only does it fit perfectly in that little section, like right to the top, but just like the way it looks is...
The logo under those looks like the same as... Is that for the others or those expansions?
Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right. That makes sense.
Next to it.
I know nothing about it.
Eric Lang games. Oh, Chaos in the Old World is one that's like very difficult to find these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's been out of print for a long time. I think a copy of that like is probably worth at least $100, probably more.
Okay.
So yeah, some pretty big box, hard to find. Forbidden Stars is another one I've heard really good things about. That's also like just impossible to find these days. I would love to try that someday.
There's a lot of big games in this collection.
Yeah.
I feel like, Dennis, that you do a lot of like heavy gaming based on what I'm seeing here, because even like a whole collection of Dark Souls, the board game with all like the stretch goals or expansions or whatever, like that's in and of itself a game you're gonna like dedicate a bunch of time to.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mythic Pantheon.
I think one thing is very clear: when Dennis backs things on Kickstarter, he goes all in.
Yeah.
There's no retail versions,
no.
regular deluxe. No, it is the super deluxe / all in or nothing. I also have to point out Seafall, which is maybe the most universally trashed game I've ever. I don't think I've ever heard one person say a good thing about Seafall.
It was trying to capitalize on the pandemic legacy at the time.
Yeah,
and it was like that's when legacy games were probably as hot as they ever were. Was after pandemic legacy did super well. I think Seafall was like, here's our take on it. And everyone was super excited, and I think for a while people didn't want to admit that it was bad.
Yeah, exactly. And this makes me wonder: did Dennis play it and he enjoys it, or he played it and
Was
can't find
disappointed.
another home for it and sits there? Did he not
Yeah.
play it at all? Oh, and I just realized this is Kingdom Death Monster.
Oh,
About
oh my
Mechs versus
god!
Minions.
You've got Mechs versus Minions and Kingdom Death
Wow,
Monster.
okay,
now
yeah.
we really need an
Dennis
invite.
really isn't
Now
messing
you need
around
to
with these
you need
big
to have
box
this set up.
Kickstarters,
Yeah, I've been wanting to play Kingdom Death
Check
Monster
it
for
out.
so
Dude,
long.
he's got some Freedom and Freeze games down here, which is huge in my books. El Grande, which I just picked up a copy of recently.
Yeah.
So a lot of good games here, Dennis.
Through the Ages, Lost Man's Spartak.
the big box 5-6 box plus Kickstarter thing isn't really up my alley personally, but there's a lot of good games here that I.
That's only one section of shelf. We've got
I know
all
there's a
this
lot of-
too.
yeah.
And
Let's
like
see what else we
again,
got here.
like continue the trend of going all in. I'm pretty sure that's every single time story.
stories, yeah, I was
Like,
gonna
it's
say.
every single one all together. And
Dennis, did you try the base game of these first and then you go buy expansions? Or are you the type of guy who says, right from the bat, if I'm interested in the game, I want to get the game and all the expansions to just have all the content at my disposal? I'm really curious.
it's not just the big games that Dennis goes all in on. He even went all in on Ghost Blitz. There's
Wow,
three boxes
yeah,
for
three boxes
Ghost
for Ghost
Blitz.
Blitz. Dennis not messing around here. Damn.
This guy games.
Yeah, no kidding. Finds K, what is your Freedom and Freeze Finds Sand doing up here? We haven't really commented a whole lot on organization. I did see, Seafall was not with
Back
other
there.
Campaign games before, so I'm gonna.
There's
have to give you
there's a
bit of
Through
our-
the Ages here, and there was a Through the Ages on the other side too, wasn't
Dennis, what are you doing
there?
here?
Yeah, come on. No, Rezic. I love seeing Rezic on people's shelves. I don't know why.
Yeah, but like, what's mental blocks?
Where's that?
Right there.
Oh, right there.
next to
Mental
Resident
blocks.
Arcana.
Yeah, yeah. Weird.
Just seem like
Never heard of that.
pretty odd games to have next to each other.
Roll for the Galaxy. No race.
Dennis.
I was so far.
Dennis, don't do
Okay,
this to me.
yeah.
Please tell me race is kicking around here somewhere.
Carlos already starting to sweat.
Oh,
He's-
man.
Oh, and your favorite game, Magic Maze.
Oh, it's a fine game.
I
It's
needed
decent.
I needed to catch on enough that people started in the comments being like, "Oh, Carlos' favorite game, Magic Maze."
There are games I dislike way more than that.
I
For
want-
some reason, that's always
my
the
goal
only
is
favorite game.
my goal right now is when we do our top 50, that when we get to the like our top 50 of the year at the end of the year, I want someone to comment on the 10 to 1 being like, "Oh, how come Magic Maze wasn't in your top 10?" Like I want it to become a thing.
Someone's gonna do it.
Did he labeled these for us?
Okay, before I was gonna say, why does the box have such small red letters for Kingdom Death Monster? But that's why
he's
he's
labeled.
typed in.
That's you know what?
Dennis, this is next
When you-
level.
but when
help
you're
us
there
out
in
here.
person, there's no red writing
Yeah.
to like you're not gonna
He's
get
trying
away
to
for some of
skirt
this.
around the issues with the organization. So we're like, what? You can't even see what the game's called. He's like, yeah, you can. I wrote it on the screen.
What is
okay.
Snowdonia?
I've seen the box cover many times on the Board Game Bliss site. I don't know anything about how the game plays. It looks a bit like the cover of. I'm not gonna be able to think of it right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
Forget it. I'm not gonna be able to think of the name of it.
And you're gonna be very happy because there's Race for the Galaxy.
No. Why are they next to each other?
And there's
What's
an
going on here?
expansion down here. Maybe because he knows that there's
yeah.
such a difference in quality that
It's
he had
true.
to separate.
Well, I mean, if he knew the true difference in quality, Roll for the Galaxy wouldn't be in his collection anymore.
them.
So.
Wow.
Right?
Coming out swinging.
Right, Dennis? Tell me you agree. No, I'm just kidding.
I like this small game section. Normally small
Yeah.
games end up being like my small game section is just all over the place, but this one is actually nice and uniform and all organized. Like this might be my favorite organized little shelf so far. It's
Yeah,
just super
pretty
nice.
nicely done there. Nice and compact. He's got Orleans with a couple expansions.
Yep.
We've obviously only tried the base game so far. He's got games I've never heard of before, like Il Vecchio.
Yeah.
What is this? For
Like, this is a
Glory?
massive collection.
Yeah,
Like, there are a
yeah,
lot of
Year
games
the
here.
Dragon. Again, though, some of the I feel like we saw some Steffenfeld elsewhere. Now there's a random
organization-
Steffenfeld here. That's the real issue
Yeah.
here, Dennis. I mean,
The
you got
organization is
a lot
the-
of good games here. But if I come over to your place someday and we're supposed to pick out a game, like how are we supposed to find what we're looking for?
Yeah, even theme wise, like you could easily have like dominant species next to things like evolution, climate, or near to it or whatever.
Oh wait, maybe he's sorting by publisher though. Look, all the GMT.
Oh, you're right. Oh man, is that what's been happening here?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe we're
Queen. There's
No,
a yellow.
there's some
No, 'cause
CG
there's a
down
yellow
here.
there, and there was Biblios on a different page, and there's Rio Grande is all over the place. Yeah, because race and roll.
Yeah.
No. There's no rhyme. We're trying.
It's
to,
pretty good
Dennis,
here,
We're trying to
but-
help you out here. I mean, there's certain sections where you've done yourself a favor, but other ones
Mm-hmm.
not as much. Oh my goodness, Tigris and Euphrates. He's got it. Okay, if you're ever getting rid of that,
Is that
Dennis.
original brass too? It says brass. Right
Oh
there.
yeah, that looks very. Yeah, that's not Lancashire or.
This is yeah. This
a
is.
handful of stars. Like man, there's so many games
You got
here
some
that I've heard
some
of and not
special ones
played.
in here.
Yeah,
I'm
Path of
very
Light and
impressed.
Shadow I've heard good things
Yeah.
about too.
Yeah. No, this is. Oh, and we should have commented. He's got a bunch of his miniatures up there.
True.
Like, kind of taking up.
True. Yeah.
The top shelf building, so to speak, for his miniatures.
Yeah.
Look,
More- oh
yeah,
my
I know.
goodness.
It's crazy. There's tons.
Collection never ends.
Yeah, there's like this is the
Is that the
Beast
two-player
Froden, Caverna,
Oh, yeah,
Agricola,
the Uwe.
Glass Road,
Uwe
yeah,
shelf.
everything all there.
I noticed he doesn't have the Norwegians for Feast for Odin. Interesting.
True. I didn't have it for a long time.
No, I know. It's rare to see someone with an Agricola expansion, but not Feast for Odin.
Yeah.
Norwegian seems like the one that I always hear is like you have to play. Oh yeah, Innovation. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my good. Okay, 1830 is like the 18XX game that I want to try.
Yeah.
Hansa Teutonica, which obviously I have but haven't tried yet.
Terra
Mystica we want to play. Marco Polo we just covered on the channel. Troyes.
You got like every big game.
Man, the medium weight Euros. This is reminding me a bit of Philip's collection from the last one, where it's just like every medium weight Euro that
Lost
I
Cities,
haven't played
Patchwork,
that I want to play is here.
Seven Wonders Duel,
Great Western Trail,
Century, like
Panamax. I want to try something by these designers and this company. Container, which is this is an out of print, very hard to find Grail game.
Oh really?
Yeah, and that's the same designer, I'm pretty sure, as Fjords. But it's like a super heavy game, like way more intense. Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
I think it is. Franz Benno Delonge. Oh, and he's got his. I just noticed Splatter games down here. What is that? It's Great Zimbabwe, Food Chain Magnate.
He's got them labeled here.
Indonesia, Antiquity. Man, he's got almost all of them.
You've got. I mean, that's the end. That's the end of the games. But that is a in terms of content and actual titles. Like you've got a lot of heavy hitters.
He's got Heaven and Ale on the bottom too, which is another one I've been dying to play. All right.
Yeah.
Dennis, we probably are gonna have to. Meet up and play some games one of these days.
There's definitely some like organizational things that you can do to take this to the next level, so to speak. But that being said, I mean it's almost a little bit grasping at straws because there are some.
Is that you're in? You're like, maybe if you invite me over to play games, I'll organize your shelves for you.
I don't want to organize anyone's shelves. I can barely organize my own. I just want to critique people's organization.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Dennis, thank you so much for sending in your collection. It is massive. It is awesome. And have us over sometime to play Kingdom Death Monster Mechs vs. Minions because that would be amazing.
Yeah, and nice diversity in that collection. You had a lot of nice like small box games. You got the big Kickstarter games. You got the old school medium weight Euros. Just a very diverse collection. So a lot of respect for that. Thanks for sending it in.
Next up, we have Joanna, which is a fledgling collection compared to the one we just saw, but there's nothing wrong with that. Anyone who's getting into the hobby is great, or is in the hobby in any regard. But I will say that what we're about to look at, even though it's a smaller collection, there are some really like solid titles that are already in it for it being like fresh, or so to speak. I don't know if it's actually like really fresh or it's just like a slower build, but there are some really good games here. So
and to be fair, she did send us this photo quite a few months ago, so they could have added games to the collection by then.
She has. But right away, Radlands Deluxe Edition and Mind Management Top Shelf Billion, which even though those wouldn't be my top shelf billion, I do love both those games.
They're both great games, and they also have really nice box covers. They're just really inviting games. You have people over, you're trying to get people hooked on games.
Yeah. Spirit Island and Blood Rage getting like the prominent showing, I can understand both, even though we didn't resonate with Spirit Island initially, or maybe still as how like to the degree that other people have. I can understand the love for it. And
we still got to go back and try it with the actual scenarios and the harder difficulty, and who knows, it could be a different game for us. But
and Blood Rage is just one I've wanted to play for a while. And need to at some point.
Yeah.
Terraforming Mars, Suburbia. Why can't I say that word? Aquatica. I was really struggling there. Obviously, Castle of Burgundy I'm really pumped about. That's great. It's the newer version.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the anniversary edition. Yeah. Cubitos, which one left your collection recently, right? In favor of Quacks, I believe.
It hasn't left. It's still here.
It's still okay.
Still here. I'm keeping it, but I do prefer Quacks.
Okay.
And you know what? A little fun trivia. Did you know that Coimbra is in like the top 150 games on Board Game Geek of all time?
Really? I didn't know it made it that high.
I think it's either like 150 or 160. Like it's right around there.
For how little it gets talked about,
exactly.
I'm surprised it's that high.
For some reason, I thought and it's probably because it was on sale so much and there was all these extra copies, and same thing with Alma Mater. Like, I thought it was not a dud, but I thought that it just didn't land with a lot of people. Like we liked it, but then we kind of cooled on it too. Yeah. And to see it that high, I was like, I had no idea that it was that well regarded by people. But
yeah, I did not. If you would have asked me where it was, I would have guessed like maybe 300-400s.
Two Portugal representations right away.
Yeah.
Coimbra and Lisboa.
Yeah, well,
that's awesome.
Based on her name, she might be Portuguese, and I think she actually said her partner's name is Rui, which is definitely a Portuguese name.
Then right away, we can't trash her collection at all now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, best collection ever.
I'm not even going to mention this empty cubicle that is just waiting for games.
Fair enough. I was going to point it out.
No, point it out.
But was that? Oh, the Twilight Struggle. Nice. That's a pretty heavy two-player game behind a lot of small box.
It's kind of just peeking out, and the fact that it's just peeking out, even though you have an empty cubicle here, is a bit just strange to me. Like
you got your stack of Button Shy games. Oh, I'm very curious what's under Circle the Wagons now. I'm always looking for more Button Shy games, and Circle the Wagons is one I've heard good things about, but I'm really curious what else is there. But yeah, Hanamakoji is one that I've been wanting to play for a long time.
Watergate.
A lot of good 2-player only games here.
Yeah, Raiders. That's Raiders of Scythia.
No, Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, is that Hadrian's Wall?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. For some reason, I get them mixed up. The box. Right.
Yeah.
Pax Pamir, we haven't played.
Even that doesn't really belong on the 2-player only shelf. Maybe you put Hadrian's Wall alone on the bottom shelf.
Well, Twilight Struggle should really be on one of these shelves. Like,
but it's 2-player only. It's got to be with the 2-player only games.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, you just gave up pretty easily.
Well, I'm just trying to get rid of this empty cube down here because it bothers me. But also, an empty cube means room to buy more games. So it's always nice to have an empty cube.
It's true.
When I buy new games, I have to think, where the hell am I going to put it? If I had empty cubes, I'd be at the game store every day, right?
That's fair. You know what I'm going to point out, though, that's a big oversight? I mean, unless it's in the next picture. But considering if they are, in fact, Portuguese, and they have Lisboa, and they have Coimbra, they've got a wine game, but they got viticulture instead of vinhos. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Vinhos is out there. Did you buy a Portuguese designer?
It doesn't look like there's a vinhos, but
no.
we do have more games
but
here.
But there's Café, another Portuguese game.
Portuguese,
very nice.
The third one.
And a great game, too.
Land vs. Sea is great. Project L, Codenames Duet. These are all ones that I love.
Biblios, which you seem to have overlooked, even though it was
I didn't even see it there. Yeah, of course.
One of my favorites, too, but even higher on yours.
Are these books? Those
have to be books. Yeah, Khaled Hosseini, yeah.
Why do you have books on... Get them out of here.
Dylan's not a fan of books on the game show.
Listen, I'm a fan of books, but not... The games The games are separate.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I wish we could have... I think Fake Artist Goes to New York. I would guess Deep Sea Adventure, and then the red one is, I don't know, is that Insider or Durian?
What's in this bag here?
Very curious. That might be the Love Letter pouch. And of all the Tiny Epic games, to their credit, I've heard that Galaxies tends to be the best one. Yeah, from a lot of people tend to say that.
Tikal, I've heard of this game so much, and I've never once looked into it. Do you know anything about it?
Yes, because it's so Augusta and James. For anyone's watching, that's my sister-in-law. It's one of the very first games they ever owned. Like they owned this game when they were kids, like years and years ago, and they've never taught me the rules for some reason. This is a Kramer and Kiesling game.
You're just calling them out. They've never taught me the rules for some reason.
I've been wanting to play Tikal for years. It's Kramer and Kiesling.
We have
to play it.
How could
Absolutely.
you?
And I was actually going to say that. I know, like, of all the games here, there's a lot of fairly newer games, and Tikal seems to be the one where I'm wondering, like, was this a game that you owned a lot longer ago, or did you find kind of like a used copy of this somewhere? Because it's definitely the outlier in terms of the
I'm curious to try it. I always hear it talked about, and I just have not played it.
Oh, nice. Modern Art.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Modern
Always
Art.
happy to see that.
Yeah. Azul, obviously. Huge fan. Santorini.
My favorite game.
Favorite game, Magic Maze. Almost like the prominent top shelf type of billing on it, too. Oh, man.
Maybe
Magic
we just
Maze.
need to play it again with a different group, and maybe I would enjoy it more.
Yeah.
But the times we played it, it just kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah, I just love that it's in like every collection.
Yeah, and when I was selling games recently and I put them online, I had like multiple people reaching out immediately for Magic Maze.
Well, because they're like, we get to buy Carlos' favorite game. Can you sign it? Did they ask you to sign it too?
CV actually sounds really cool. I've wanted to try that one for a while. I'm curious. Actually, I might ask Joanna in the Discord how she and Rui like it, because it's like basically making your own CV, and it kind of reminded me of The Sims in board game form a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a smaller collection at the time that it was sent. I'm sure it's grown now, but there are some really solid games. Like you have not, you've come in strong with your collection. Even going as big as a game like Lisboa too. And
Pax Pamir is one that I've been wanting to try for so long, but I've just been intimidated by the kind of the sheer the rules and just the sort of complexity of the game. But yeah, there's a lot of big titles here and a very, very nice looking collection. So.
Yeah. Great
Thank
collection.
you for sending that in, and thanks for being part of our community. I know you've been commenting on our YouTube videos for a while and been part of our Discord, so thanks, Joanna.
Are you ready for this one? Because this might be the largest, most intricate collection we've ever looked at so far. I'm setting it up hard, but there's going to be several photos, and we're not going to go over every game because there's lots going on here. But it basically is a store in his basement.
And this is another Winnipegger, right?
Yeah, John Sims. He's got Winnipeg Jets stuff everywhere, so I'm assuming. But yeah, so this is it. First of all, an entire section of Magic the Gathering. He's filled an entire Kallax this size with just Magic the Gathering products, which I respect and admire.
I don't even know what to say, but they're not filled in here as though it's someone who is like, I need to just cram as much stuff as I can into here. It is very much like you said, like it looks like a store display.
I don't think this stuff's being pulled off.
It's specifically like, here's my collection prominently displayed.
Like I would imagine his decks are elsewhere and his cards are elsewhere, and this is like more the packaging that he's just it looks great. Like I need to know if you've worked in a retail store
or like. What are these things
called
again? You have a bunch of them too.
Oh, I don't have those. I have mine. You're thinking of the Amiibo, I think.
Oh, okay.
These are I don't Funko Pops.
Right.
That's
Right.
what it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those aren't Magic related, right? Those are. Just...
I think those ones are. Yeah.
Really?
Those are 2 Planeswalkers.
Oh
He's
wow.
gotten the
Okay.
Planeswalker
Okay. I was
ones,
gonna
yeah.
say those stand out a bit, but maybe not.
Yeah, like
Okay.
this is just an entire Magic shelf, which I love. So
Yep.
we'll get that out of the way, but that is amazing. Then we get into the board game collection, which right away we're biased because he's got all you can board on the TV.
Yeah,
listening to my
specifically Dylan.
Equinox.
Yeah, Equinox how to play. Yeah.
But like even this whole setup, like this is like a mix now of board games and like memorabilia and comics. Like he's got the Marvel Champions added into like his comic area.
I'll
and
let
stuff.
slide. I was just about to say this isn't board games.
Marvel
this isn't
United as
times
well.
to show us your other hobbies, John. But
Like-
there's Marvel games. Fair enough. Fair
Normally,
enough, John.
normally I wouldn't in the same way. I just trash Joanna's books. Like normally I would be like, what is this doing here? But the fact that he's picked his 2 like Marvel related board games and found a way to integrate them into his comic shelf to kind of keep the entire theme going is
Okay, but
good.
what if I were to send in a photo of a stamp collection and there was a stamp or a sticker from a board game just on the page? Would you
I mean,
would you review the stamp collection as though it were board game related? Would
yes,
that be enough?
yes. Yeah, I'm gonna
You
say
passed
yes.
the test, John. But you got to thank Dylan for this one because we're not passed my test.
But yeah, so this is
That's also 'cause
mostly
I'm not crazy about Marvel, but.
mostly comics, but again, because they're all you can board is on the TV and because there's Marvel Champions and stuff. we had to
Jets
talk about
logo on the water
Jets
cooler,
logo.
which I very much appreciate.
Love it.
Dylan, not so much. We won't get into that.
So now we start getting into like more like again, this looks like a storefront. Like there's a whole comic
look at
setup.
this
and
Mario.
everything.
Is
I
this
know.
Super Mario World chess?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, just Super Mario chess.
There's Super
but
Mario
yes,
chess.
yes. Yeah. And
Look at that.
I don't
That
even
is
know what
awesome.
this is. Some
The
sort of Star
Goombas
Wars
are
setup.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at this chessboard. The Goombas are rooks on one side, but then it's Toads are the rooks on the other side.
I mean,
Oh
it's
man,
amazing.
that is awesome. I really like that chess set.
These look like his party games, which I appreciate that like
Yeah.
all the types of trivia party like group games are all put into one spot. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about how I
Scopa,
feel.
the traditional Italian card game.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Justin Bieber board game down
Yeah.
there. Also, Canadian trivia is just funny to me for some reason.
Nice.
My parents had Songburst
Oh,
growing
yeah?
up, and I when I saw this on the shelf, it was like a nostalgia rush into my
Oh,
head because
yeah?
I
I
remember
hadn't
seeing
thought of it
it.
in however
Oh,
long though, yeah.
So funny. I've never played it. I've always seen it.
I don't recognize many of these, to be honest with you.
All
I
of
mean,
them are,
obviously
like-
Codenames and King of
Yeah,
Tokyo
for sure.
and whatever, but
A whole lot of party games. I mean, we'll probably get to it in other things, but like here we're getting to a whole collection of board games in the back that we'll get into.
yeah, I was gonna say, when do we get to the board games?
He's setting,
John, do you have games?
He's setting the stage and the
I
mood.
seem to remember
Okay.
you having some games here somewhere in this basement of hobbies.
All right.
There's
Board
the games. Now we're talking.
Okay, so there's a really wild
Wait,
mix
did
here.
you just zoom in right away from? Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the potential top shelf.
There's a wild mix of games here. Okay, we're gonna be like, oh, here's a popular game, and here's something I've never heard of. There's so many different games here. So there's a bunch of like classics up
Yeah,
here,
some
like
Brewopoly.
Pente and Gambler, Pride and Prejudice, the board game. a
Sorry, are
Ouija
you
board.
when you're saying a couple classics? Are you referring to you know these games?
Oh, I've played Pente.
Really?
I played it at across
Okay,
the board.
I thought you were just messing with me.
No,
Oh, the
no.
classics, Pente and Gambler.
Well, Gambler, I've heard it too, and Payday I had it growing up.
Oh yeah, Payday for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, these are
Pokemon
way
Monopoly, that's a classic.
old. I'll take your word for it.
And by classics, I guess I just mean old games. But he must be from Winnipeg, because Villageopoly is there, which is Osborne Village.
Oh yeah, it says Wob Canoe right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
So
I didn't
he
know
must
that.
be from Winnipeg.
Yeah, must be.
But yeah, so then we have games like that. Then we've got Gloomhaven, like Jaws of the Lion,
Wait.
Pandemic, all that kind of
Look
stuff.
at this. Okay, this is gonna be something we're gonna have to look for now. Jaws Line is in shrink. Scroll over.
you're right.
Look, a lot of these games are in shrink.
Oh.
Airship City.
Oh my
Remember
God,
when
this
we saw
entire
the crazy
section's in
sale?
shrink.
Remember when we saw Airship City a while back? It was like a regular $70 on sale for like 15. You want to bet John just bought all the on sale games? Look
Is
how many of these
every
are in
game
shrink.
is
Sale
every
ends
game in shrink?
Discover Lands Unknown.
John, what are you doing? Open your
Oh,
games.
Discover Lands Unknown. This guy went to, what was it, Princess Auto or Bianca's or whatever. They had those that shelf that was like $3 copies of Discover Lands Unknown.
So I need to know now, because you're obviously a collector, because you have comics, you have memorabilia, all this stuff.
like, there's Seven Wonders in shrink. Too,
Is
but
most of your board game purchases as a collector's item, or are you actually playing them? Like, what percentage do you think your collection is collection, just like have on display, and how much of it is actually like get it to the table regularly?
And you know
That's
what else
I wanna
I'm
know.
wondering about this is if I were to come over to your house, let's say like I want to play one of the games in shrink, so now we have to sit there punch out the whole game.
No, he's probably not gonna
together.
let you open it.
Yeah,
If
so
the
it's
value's gonna
so
go
if I
down.
go there, like the games that are in shrink can't be played, or if someone they have to decide before they come over, so you have the game ready. Like I understand this preserves the value of your games if you don't play it, or you
Right,
get a
right.
second copy somehow. Like I don't blame you. But that's a level of restraint that I don't think I have
Yeah.
personally in terms of like having this many games there just sitting in
Yeah.
shrink. like Vault of Dragons, like a lot of the ones in Shrink I've never even heard of before.
It's just wild to me, like the differentiation between like major titles like Gloomhaven to like a title like the Wikipedia board game that like I've never even heard of, didn't even know it was a thing.
The
5-second rule.
I would like it if these kinds of games, like these more, I don't want to say, like maybe more mainstream kind of like party games. I wish they were all kind of grouped together more, because you have like some other random games up on a shelf here that are all kind of just blended in with the Euro games and everything else.
Yep.
Not a huge fan. Oh, there's Mexica is in the same trilogy, I believe, as Tikal, which we saw in that previous collection.
But like it's so weird to be looking at a shelf and you go like, oh, Costa Rica, Diplomacy, perchance, Strudel.
Yeah,
the translation. Pandemic Hot Zone sitting by itself.
Is on top of Lost in Translation. Yeah, like.
The 8-bit box, like Get a Grip, the Glee board game. Like there's so many games here that like it surprises me to see in a collection.
Yeah, and the fact that
how many scenes do you have?
Yeah, wow. Pursued, selfie, think.
The old classic fart.
I was gonna say fart. It's just called.
Like this is this is a lot of board games that aren't like even ones you regularly see in a collection anymore or at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
wild.
here. Here's the thing. I don't know if are they rare as in like they're valuable, or rare as in like you just don't see them in people's collections because people don't think they're good games.
It could be both.
I'm
some
so
of them.
curious about so many of these. I want to look a bunch of these up online.
That's the thing, is like I wouldn't have any of these in my own collection, but if I was over at John's place, there'd be a couple I would be like, can I like open this up and just see what's on the inside of this?
But then we'd never get anything played. We'd just be pulling games off the shelf. Oh, what is this? What's this?
But that's the thing. It's like a store. You just go in and browse.
True, yeah.
So there's a few more here. He's got Keyforge.
Nice.
Thought you'd be pretty happy about.
Keyforge.
This is the other side of the chess one.
Yeah.
He's got Star Wars Mandalorian Monopoly too, which I didn't know was a thing. Speak Out I've heard of.
Yeah.
Like more of these like kind of like party-esque games.
Okay, seeing Blurt, that just gave me the rush of nostalgia that you were talking about. I used to have Blurt. Oh man,
he's got like every old
game in like probably 25, 30 years. I don't even remember anything about it, but I just, as soon as I saw that, Tribond was another one.
He's got
that
the
I
actual
playing as a kid.
sitting here.
Oh yeah.
Like this does not look like it's a store. Like it
It's
absolutely does.
Yeah. Where are the price tags?
Yeah.
John.
He's got Root up here like above like random games like
that's an odd spot to have
People
Root,
Magazine, the game. Like this is just wild to me. This is such a diverse random collection in many ways, and yet
I honestly don't even know what to say. I feel like half of the games here are probably old, like retro games from like, I don't know, 70s, 80s, like games we've never played and probably never will play most of these.
John, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I would say like the majority of your collection I would never want to own, and yet it is so intriguing to look at all these old games and games I didn't know existed, and like a game based on Wikipedia and a game based on People Magazine. Like, it's just wild to like...
the diversity of the collection and also just like the rarity in some of the games. This has to be one of the more like impressive collections in that regard. Maybe even the most diverse. Like, I don't know if we've seen one that has, you know, this many of these old random games I've never even heard of before.
Obviously a big David Bowie fan.
Yeah.
Another game from my past, Mad Gab. Good memories with Mad Gab.
I played a lot of Mad Gab growing up.
I love Mad Gab.
He's another copy of Discover Lands Unknown. He totally did go for the blowout sale at Princess Auto or whatever.
The worst case scenario game of surviving life. Like Yahtzee, Texas Hold'em. Like, there's so many random games here.
I think you've broken Dylan's brain.
Big Bang
here, John.
Theory, the game. Planet Hollywood, the game. Like
Star Wars Battleship.
Like, there's so many random games. Like, I'm
Tetris 2 to 4 player strategy and Tetris the board game. Is that also in Shrink?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but in many ways I'm disgusted, and in many ways, but in the same ways, I'm also so impressed. Like, I can't decide what I think about
Which
any
is
of this.
the more prominent
and even just like
feeling?
My dad had one of these like electric board thing where you touch it and like all the electricity goes to your fingers. Like, I just love so much of the way this looks. Like, this is the type of basement I wish I could walk into every day, but I probably would never touch half the games in it.
Oh man.
I think.
Wait, there's more shows?
Oh yeah, there's these last two.
Goodness.
So this is like just some other random games,
books and other stuff.
Lost the game, which is wild to me.
Next to his Dan Brown book collection.
Simpsons Clue, more Big Bang Theory. It must be a Big Bang Theory fan.
Baconopoly, Survivor.
You have 3 shelves of Big Bang Theory. Like, you must be the biggest Big Bang Theory fan.
Wow.
Baconopoly. We played. This is the Survivor board game that we played.
Okay, I recognize the box now. Yeah.
We definitely played that one time at one of my family things. And then lastly, we got just some other.
Do you think the Lost Game has something hidden in there the same way that DVD box set did?
It should. Yeah. That would be on theme for Lost. Yeah, so we've got like the Seinfeld trivia game kicking around here randomly. Was it Hoopla? A bunch of random stuff.
Wait a sec. Is that Jumanji?
It is absolutely Jumanji.
Just the end, yeah. It's got
of course, he has Jumanji.
Yeah,
of course.
But that's the real Jumanji, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But like to go from all that to go to like Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and that's pretty clever.
Cards Against
and Forbidden
Humanity.
Island.
It's got Hero Realms on the computer shelf.
And then
here.
the old classic Santa versus Jesus.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Oh, Super Nintendo games.
Mario Paint.
Is that
Love
what that
it.
is?
It
Oh yeah,
is.
nice.
Yeah,
Well
Mario
spotted.
Paint.
Well spotted.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's wild to me.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to say,
I'm
John.
so glad we've covered this. I don't know whether we've roasted it or praised it because, like I said, in many
I think
ways,
we've just been too in shock to really be able to properly comment.
I think we need people in the comments to jump in and tell us, is this a good collection, a bad collection, or just an impressive collection?
Yeah.
Because we're all three.
And John, what is, if you can comment in the YouTube comments, let us know. What's your guess as to like what percentage of those games do you actively enjoy playing yourself, and what percentage is there sort of as a collector?
Yeah.
And no judgment. I'm just very curious. Like everyone can have their collection how they want. I'm curious. Like how many of these old games are worth like us or other people going seeking out and playing?
And would you be open to us coming over to your place and interviewing you and asking many questions about your collection?
An in-person roast.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that in, John.
Yeah, amazing collection. I think. So next one is Stephanie, and Stephanie is one of our patrons. This is a really small collection, but again, we don't judge on size here. We might judge on the fact that it's just crammed into 2 cubbies, but we'll get there.
Yeah, the organization is always up for being critiqued. But
yeah, this is a patron collection. It is in 2 photos here. The first one is this little cubicle. It's not a cubicle. This little drawer or shelf or whatever, where we have a bunch of games haphazardly stacked, and there's games I think behind that we can't even see exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Unless, is the next photo what's behind? It's not.
Maybe just lift certain games.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So one cube. Okay, I got it. Okay, so we have Meadow. We were off the bat, which I've never played, but I wanted to play.
Yeah, I've heard it's a good tableau building game. Apparently,
Calico's great. Overboss is great. You like Parks? You've played it, right?
I don't mind it. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
It's not your favorite.
Decent.
Game. Or maybe it is your favorite game.
Here's the thing. I imagine I would have a better impression of it if I played it in person, because the artwork on the cards and the presence of the game on the table is apparently like a big part of the draw, and I've only played it on Board Game Arena. And I've enjoyed it. I just don't like love it.
Yeah. Isle of Cats.
It's a solid game.
Happy Little Dinosaur. Isle of Cats is one that I do not play enough. And I obviously because I don't have it, and I feel like we have so many games to play in your collection that it's not one we play when I come over.
Yeah, it's not one of my I've enjoyed it every time I play it. I always feel like it goes a bit longer than I'd like, and I recently picked up the Roll and Write version, Explore and Draw, so I'm curious to compare them. But Empires of the North is a good one.
Yeah, we'll go into what's behind here. So this is the same shelf, but like you said, Empires of the North behind there, Mysterium, Sheriff of Nottingham. That's an interesting one. I think we've talked about it before, but in case people don't remember, I bought that game and I was super excited about it. I think Braden bought it at the same time, and this was before Braden and I were even really friends. We were just co-workers that worked together, and I think we learned about our shared board game interest, and I think he was buying Sheriff of Nottingham, and I was like, oh, this game sounds interesting. I bought it, and when we played it, your wife essentially in many ways beat the game. The whole thing about Sheriff of Nottingham is bluffing, and I think that's where most of the fun's supposed to come from, is can you catch people in a bluff and all this stuff. And your wife just played the entire game, never bluffing once, and completely destroyed us.
Yep. And I've read apparently that is a common thing that other people have noticed with the game too, that the best way to have basically being honest is your best chance at winning kind of thing. And so apparently the expansion addressed that and gave you more incentive to try and sneak through contraband. So I'm kind of curious because that's a second edition. I don't know what changes they've made, if there's an expansion included or if they've tweaked the rules. Because you don't want a game where you're trying to get away with lying, but it makes more sense in terms of if
a game heavily uses bluffing and yet the best way to play it is not bluffing. It's been designed poorly.
Exactly.
I think. Maybe that's being a little bit harsh, but Smash Up. Have you ever played Smash Up?
No, and I've heard some people have said that it's a game that we might actually like.
Oh, really?
I don't know much about the way it actually plays, but just the fact that it's a dueling kind of game reminds me somewhat of. Probably has nothing in common with Magic the way it plays, but just in terms of a 2-player head-to-head kind of dueling game.
Right.
It's one of those ones that it seems like people either love it or hate it. People either have a big giant box of it or a bunch of different, and are really, really into it, or just no interest. So
yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it on shelves so often, and it's one of those games where I don't know if you have ones like this where like you see a game a lot, it catches your attention, you wonder about it, and you just never look it up. You never actually like Tikal was one of those for me. Like I know nothing about that game, but I see it all the time.
Smash Up is kind of like that for me, honestly. Like I can't tell you the designer, can't tell you how it plays, can't tell you if there's dice, cards. I know it's heroes and kind of fighting each other.
I am curious about it though.
Yeah.
So one day we'll look.
Feels like a blind spot. Feels like a game we should have tried by now, or
at least
been in the hobby.
At least just spend some time.
Yeah, going to Board Game Geek. This is Smash Up Disney up there too.
Tokaido, did I own Tokaido at one point and I sold it, or did I
think you did.
I did, yeah.
Yep.
I like Tokaido. It's just like not one that I ever wanted to like really suggest. Like it's a relaxing game with the right group. It made sense to me, but like it wasn't one where I'm like I'm so excited to have people over and play Tokaido.
You know what, Tokaido? A couple of years ago, I had a play of it where I realized this is for me almost the perfect game to play like once a year. Where it's like I think to play it. Not to say that playing 2-3 times a year you're gonna get super tired of anything, but it doesn't have enough depth to be like a regular favorite for me. But every time I go a while without playing it, it's always an enjoyable game to return to.
Yep.
And it's just like really nice artwork, relaxing game to play.
Yeah, totally. Spirit Island's on there, Lost Ruins Varnak, a couple heavy hitters.
Munchkin Deluxe.
Have you ever played Munchkin?
Interesting. No, I've never played Munchkin. I hear it get trashed all the time online.
Really?
Well, everyone says that it's like, oh, it's one of your first games you play, and then once you move on to other games, you won't want to play Munchkin anymore. And so people have told me, like, oh, don't even bother with Munchkin anymore. But it feels like another one of those games that we should have played by now, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what the deluxe version
we should do a video one time of our board game blind spots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just talk about all the ones that we know nothing about and haven't even looked into and stuff.
Yeah, or ones that are high up on the BGG that we're like, never really,
Yeah.
I like the fact that Food Chain Magnate, which is probably the most expensive game. I don't know how heavy the box is because the game's like $130 Canadian, is on the very top of all this stack of other games.
Yeah, totally. And
but that's one that I really want to play, obviously, Food Chain Magnate.
And Land vs. Sea is great. And I don't know what's in this little container up here, but I mean, all I'll say is there are some great starting games here.
Sorry, My City is clearly there behind Happy Little Dinosaurs. Why is My City being covered up?
That's true.
That's such
by
a
Happy
good
Little
game.
Dinosaurs.
By Happy Little Dinosaurs.
And one thing I did want to point out is it is kind of cool. I think that they have like a tally of like, it's hard to read here, but I think that this is like ratings, weight ratings for each game. Oh, which I've never seen anyone do.
Smash Up 2.06, My City 2.02. That is really cool.
So you can like, I imagine it's because then if you have someone over and you want to like at a glance see what the complexity of your games is, you can be like, oh, you want to play something light? Here it is. I'm like, it's not actually, not a bad idea.
I don't know, something in the range of Tokaido. You're like, well, Tokaido's at 2 point whatever. Look at the other ones in that range. That's a really good idea.
Because you could look stuff on Board Game Geek, but then you're doing it one at a time.
If you could in order. Yeah, you're like, I'm looking for kind of like a medium weight game. Okay, let's look at the options.
I really appreciate that. That's someone who cares about the people coming over to play games even more than they do like themselves playing the games.
Yeah, right? I really appreciate that
extra
that
points.
Level of,
extra
that
points.
Definitely.
And
even though I can't commend this level of the organization,
disorganization,
the stacking with the heavy games on top of each other, maybe some wear on the boxes. Yeah. I got to give you a bit of a hard time about that, but
I think it's time to upgrade to just even, you don't have to get a Calyx or any like big shelf like that, but just like a nice like, a couple cubes for a wall or something like that where you can have some games and give yourself some breathing room to buy some more games. I think it's time to upgrade from this.
You just put this on its side and then you can stand up all the games sideways in a long row.
This entire unit, doesn't matter what else is in here, just turn it on its side.
What do you need the rest of the unit for?
Turn it on its side. I love it. So thank you so much for sending in the collection. It's a nice little one, and I hope it keeps growing. And I hope if you do expand it a whole bunch, you send us some photos or even just an email and let us know what you've upgraded.
We maybe a bit of an oversight on our part that we didn't roast the fact that a lot of those games have cute animals.
Then they have. You want to roast that they have cute animals?
Well, no. Just point out that is that a requirement for them to buy?
I thought you were just like, I hate cute animals.
No. I just mean like Meadow, Calico. Right. No, you closed the pictures. I don't remember.
Too late. All right.
Listen, I love animals. I love cats.
Sure. All right. So our last collection is another patron. This is Faye. And we have a few different photos to look at. And
also, Faye made it very clear in her email that Agricola is her #1 game of all time. So she is Team Agricola and not Feast for Odin.
Debatable. I don't think that was in the email, but
I'll screenshot it and I'll post it online as proof. Look, the proof is right here because if Feast Rodent is nowhere and Agricola is prominently displayed in the top left corner, the #1 slot of the shelf.
I can't argue with that, but I will say that it's not her favorite game in her collection because clearly it's Star Trek Ascendancy.
No, that just doesn't fit anywhere. Look at it, that thing's a beast.
Before we get into anything, I just want to mention this is the most like vertical shelves I've ever seen. Like it's all narrow vertical shelves, which is really interesting.
Also, there's some almost color coordination stuff, or maybe it's just a coincidence that the villainous boxes have the nice colors, and then there's the Terra.
It's like a nice gradient
together.
It's like going into the darkness.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a bunch of great stuff in here. So I mean, even though I'm not happy that Agricola's got the #1 spot there, I will appreciate that Castles of Burgundy is kind of like right there as well.
And also, extra shout out because these are the first two Uwe Rosenberg games I bought was Agricola and Glass Road. And it looks like those are the only two they have.
Nice.
Excellent first choices.
I also love that the new Libertalia is up there because that is becoming quickly one of my, I don't want to say one of my favorite games, but it's climbing. Like,
it's very good.
I really like it.
Honey Buzz I really want to try. I don't know if it's one that's going to be like something we want to play all the time, but I heard it was really good. Welcome to the Moon. I have it at home. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to one of these days. I was just
one of the many games on your shelf of shame.
Exactly, one of the many.
Terra Mystica with the expansions. I've said this before. I want this game so badly, but because I'm pretty sure that it's either next year or sometime soon, Age of Innovation, which is like the new, like them doing what they did with Gaia Project, but with the Terra Mystica theme still. They're basically re-implementing it all. I'm basically waiting for that now because there is a big box version of Terra Mystica and I want it so badly, but yeah.
So you're not interested in the Terra Nova, which is like the slimmed down version?
I am. Yeah, that one I would get because I wouldn't mind having a smaller...
Maybe start with that one
and
then
exactly.
work your way up,
But I still do want to play like the legitimate experience here.
Yeah,
but if there's a new version coming out, I don't want to buy the big box and have to like sell it and buy the new version.
Yeah,
so.
Couple of old classics there, Catan and Ticket to Ride.
With Equinox for some reason.
Yeah.
And then Star Realms.
Star Realms
box, a little bit, it could be a better organization.
It's a bit of an odd cube, but we'll let it go.
Witchstone is nice to see. You must be a huge Star Trek fan because you have an entire cube down here that's all Star Trek, I think, as well. Or is that all? Maybe the bottom one.
That's Dune stuff.
Oh, maybe
for sure. Living Planet. I'm not.
For some reason,
I've heard
I
of it. I'm
this
not
was.
familiar.
I
just noticed one villainous box.
Doesn't fit.
No, you got to get rid of one.
You could put it right next to here, though. Oh, but
and
the gradient's all ruined.
I know.
Too. Ooh.
I know. I think they have to just get rid of maybe the purple box so that the green can be moved up and the gradient.
No, I like the purple there. I think you just.
I like the purple too.
I think you just throw this one in the garbage, the green one, and you just like resign yourself to the fact that you have
you gotta cut the part of the shelf and move it over so that you can fit all 6, and then have a shorter shelf on the other side.
Lots of great options being done.
And some self carpentry that you can put into play here. The Bloody Inn I've heard is a very interesting game. It's kind of got that dark theme where you're trying to murder guests that come stay in, basically. Yeah, but
it's like guillotine level of
dark theme. It sounds like a pretty fun little like kind of party game.
Yeah.
It's one that I've wanted to try for a while.
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, very curious. Okay, that was one of those ones that I did not have any expectations for because big popular video game getting turned into a board game.
Yeah.
But people seem to actually like it. They got some decent reviews.
So my friend Ryan, who was on the live stream to play One Night Ultimate Werewolf, bought it, and he said we can play it anytime.
Oh, nice.
So
cool.
Whenever we want to try it, he's got it.
Okay, and Obsession is another one on my shelf at home that I've not yet played, but I really want to.
Yeah.
And it's on... Is it on? No, maybe not.
This is not the first time we've seen the Evertree used as decoration, which I feel like is the most popular use of the Evertree. Actually,
really the only use that makes sense to me. It doesn't belong on the table when you're playing the game.
Carlo hates the Evertree so much.
I don't hate it. I hate its lack of utility. Like, why is it making it harder to play the game? Why do I have to stand up to see the cards on the Evertree when they could just be on the table?
I don't hate it. I just don't want it to exist anymore.
I wish for it to not be a thing.
Enchanted Blooms, I'm a big fan of
Battle Line Medieval version. Wait, Catan,
Badlands, Arboretum.
Catan expansion? Why? How is it not with the other Catan
the 5 to 6 player expansion?
I think that's Parade behind, which is one I really want to try. Cryptid Legends, which is another one I'm curious about.
Yep.
Radlands, Arboretum. Oh, Arboretum, nice choice.
A bunch of Tiny Epic games. Wow.
Oh yeah, you got the
in a Tiny Epic bag
in the Game Hall bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Caper Europe, Everdell, Tzolk'in, Eldorado. I mean, there's some heavy hitters.
This
here.
is like half of your collection.
Yeah,
here.
pretty much.
There's a lot of these games you have. Yeah.
Bonfire is one that I still do want to try. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but I'm just very curious about
I'm
it.
curious too. Yeah. Great Western Trail, that's the second edition. Okay, Great Western Trail is one of those games where every time I consider buying it or I'm getting more curious about it, they either release an expansion or a new edition.
Yeah.
It's like I was going to finally buy the first one. Oh, second edition now. I'm like, okay, I'll wait to find out what the changes are. Now I was finally considering buying the second edition. Now they got Great Western Trail Argentina. I'm like, well, maybe I'd be more interested in a game set in Argentina than the States. So now I'm going to wait to see what that one is. And then by the time I consider buying that one, they're going to introduce Great Western Trail in some other place. And then there's going to be another expansion. I'm never going to try this game.
You are really upset about this. I've never seen you so fired up.
The barrier looks like when there's so many. People were talking about this in our Discord the other day about viticulture. And the same thing. It's like viticulture base game. Then there's Essential Edition. Then there's expansion. Then there's... just where do you start? And the more they introduce, it just makes it harder to know, like, where's my entry point? Which is the right one? I don't want to try every single version and compare them if there's kind of like a universally agreed upon better version. But
and it's a big blind spot of ours too to not have played.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ingenious, which I have and I enjoy, is in there as well as Zool.
I have a feeling that one's going to be leaving your collection one day.
Ingenious, you know what's funny is like I have no gameplay reason to have it leave my collection. It's just one of those ones that I just don't get to the table. Like I actually enjoy it, and like I don't think we've even played it
I still need to play it. That's
so one of these times,
really
like it's one that I could easily like bring to the cabin when we go because it does not take long to play either. But it's Knizia. You should play it.
Is Ingenious? No. I was gonna say it's Ingenious the only Knizia game, but no, of course they had Battle Line Medieval.
Yeah. What else?
I didn't. There's more games here.
Oh yeah, there's more. We've got Death Eater's Rise, which I'd never seen in anyone's collection.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say right now, right next to it, Petrichor is one of the games I've considered buying this game so many times. I've had it in carts, and now it's sold out. I kind of regret it not getting it, but the collector's edition especially, this game sounds so interesting. The table presence looks beautiful. It's like clouds and the whole process of like rain and stuff. Like, it just look into this game. It looks very interesting. And
big box.
Well, you were super interested in that game Hamlet that was on. It's the same designer as Petrichor.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look into this. Seven Wonders Duel, Patrick, huge. Is this like a deluxe version of Bonanza or like?
It's got to be something.
It looks different than yours.
Big thick box of Bonanza. Yeah.
Big thick box of Bonanza.
The Crew, very nice choice. Oh, this is the original Kanban.
I was just gonna say,
this is before Ian O'Toole was cool. No, Ian O'Toole, you were always cool. It's before the board game industry recognized your coolness.
Yeah. Gingopolis is on there, which is one that I need to properly experience when I'm like falling asleep at the table.
We gotta play
Luna
that
Capital we just haven't played yet.
Yeah, I played the solo mode the other day. Not bad. I'm curious to
I'm really curious
to show it to you. Yeah.
Dinosaur Island, you know what? I sold this game because I was able to get like even more than I had paid for because I had the deluxe version. A lot of people wanted it. It was one that I was just never going to have hit the table enough. But I played it twice, and I really, really liked it. And what I really liked about Dinosaur Island was I've seen some games do this, but you can play like a shorter version or a longer version.
Yep.
And having played both, they were both fun, and they were both like enjoyable in their own way. Where I could see myself sitting down and being like, "We have this long kill, we'll do the short version," and not feeling like you're getting like a slimmed down experience or like getting gypped out of it or whatever.
Right.
But in some ways,
I would have liked to have tried it before you got rid of. And so are you interested at all in Dinosaur World? Because a lot of people said that they took a similar that they didn't completely change everything, but that it's like a very much just like a clearly improved version of
definitely
the game.
Interested in playing it. It's not one I'd buy.
Okay,
I think I've at this point, if I'm going to play Dinosaur Island again or Dinosaur World or whatever, or Roar and Write, it's going to be because someone else has it and they set it up for me rather than me buying them. But
speaking of, I've heard the Roll and Write one is apparently very good.
The Roar and Write?
Yeah, Roar and Write. People say it's one of the best Roar and Writes out there.
Yeah. Second or last shelf here, the last one's on a shelf.
Snake Oil, nice.
Snake
so cool.
Oil. We don't see that one very. We've got a whole bunch of
games.
Agricola expansions up there.
Oh my!
Nowhere near the Agricola box, but.
And you know what? I regret when I bought a bunch of Agricola expansions back in the day. I threw out all the boxes and just put all the cards in the big box.
Monster!
Yeah, these expansion box just empty, sitting on my shelf for a
while.
Threw
Agricola products in the garbage.
It's just a card box. I shouldn't have said it. It's recorded. The footage is captured forever now. Oh, is Dune Imperium and the original Dune.
Dunes.
That's the 1979. Well, this is probably the remake, but I really want to try this version of Dune. For anyone who doesn't know, the Bene Gesserit have a win condition in here where at the beginning of the game you predict which faction is going to win and in which round. And whenever the game end happens, whoever declares victory normally, the Bene Gesserit player reveals their prediction, and if they were right, they instead win.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
So you can, and their whole thing is like telepathy and mind control and stuff. So the whole game you're trying to steer towards the prediction you've made. It's so cool.
Yeah. Both copy or the Perry and Perry expansion.
Yeah.
Both micro macros.
Yeah. The third one's out now, actually.
Oh, it is?
Third micro macro, yeah.
Nice.
Or maybe not in Canada, I guess. It might just be in Europe, but the third one has been released.
Here is a game that I've wanted to play for so long, and I forgot all about. Millefiori. I've wanted to play that for so long, and it just fell off my radar. Like I forgot about this game, and I know that it's been like I could have purchased this many times.
This is Faye, right?
Yes.
I believe she said she's in Australia, and this was a German release, so maybe they get access to German releases and stuff before we do. I want to play it so badly. It definitely hasn't been available anywhere in North America yet.
Oh, it hasn't?
No.
I could have sworn I saw it somewhere.
Maybe.
Unless it was an import copy.
It could have been an import copy, but I don't think most people... Yeah, someone might have gone to Essen and brought back copies or something. I don't think Millefiori is openly for sale. Eternal Palace is another one that was just at Essen, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I really want to get Millefiori.
Root, you kind of glossed over those expansions.
I mentioned it,
no,
but like...
fair enough. I felt a little glossed over.
I felt a little underbaked, but that's fine.
For someone who says they get Root now, I didn't even hear you mention it.
And then the last one is just a list, or I think these are in like a shelf or a drawer or something, which is there's some big games in here to kind of just be thrown in there, but we've got
Megabox. I didn't even know the Megabox existed.
Lisboa, Ark Nova, like these are huge
BattleCon is a game I've been so curious about for so long. I don't know if it's anything like we were looking at the previous collection, Mythic Battles, Pantheon, whatever, in terms of the gameplays, but I think it is kind of, another skirmish game with miniatures. That's just this ever-evolving system. You can buy different boxes, whatever. It's been around for a long time. I've heard great things about it. It feels like one of those ones that, again, you and I should have tried by now.
Yeah.
But
what do you think is the most out-of-place game in this picture?
Oh, I was gonna say The Big Bang Theory, but the fact that it's got Star Wars Scene it next to it, I've got to say the Dungeons and Dragons starter set.
Oh wow!
Or the poker chips set.
Okay, I was gonna say you can't go wrong with either the Star Trek Scene or the Big Bang Theory game. Like
if either one was on its own, yes, but the fact that they're next to each other, they don't stand out as much. Yeah.
Either way, like it's an interesting shelf we're looking at, or like cute cubby or whatever, because having Lisboa, Ark Nova, and Quacks, and then having Scene it, Big Bang Theory, and Dungeons and Dragons.
As anyone who watches these videos often knows, organization is important to us, and there's definitely a lot of work to be done there, Faye.
Yeah, but
even though you've got lots of good games, Either
way, thank you for sending in your very vertical collection with these very thin shelves. Looks great, and thanks for supporting us on Patreon. That is it. Those are all 5 collections. Like we said, there are some bigger ones in here that are just very large and very showy. Love to hear what you think about all of them. Let us know in the comments which one's your favorite, which one stood out, or if you thought we were too easy or too hard on some of them. And as always, if you want to submit your collection, allyoucanboard@gmail.com. Just send your photos there. Make sure they're as high resolution as possible. The less photos, the better, because then it's easier for us to spend more time on each of them as we go. We do have a lot of in the backlog, so if you are a patron, you do get moved to the front of the line, and you will be featured sooner. Otherwise, it might take a little bit to get to, just because we do have a lot we have to get through, and we're only doing 5 per video. So.
Yeah, we're going to try to find a way to get through these quicker, because we love doing them, and we want people to be able to send them in and not have to wait. So, but for anyone who has, thanks so much for your patience. We will get to yours at some point.
Yeah, and otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.